and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Here. Golden. Here. Blevins.
Here.
Sansing. Here. Ray.
Here.
Mashburn. Trailer.
Here.
Twitty. Here. Smith. Raines. Mr. Mayor.
I'm here.
3 absent, sir.
All right, we got a quorum. We have a presentation of minutes of June 2nd meeting in front of you. And up for approval is the May 19th minutes. I got a motion to approval. Any, is that a second? Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, that moves us on to the consent agenda. Do I hear anything about the consent agenda?
Second.
Got a motion, second, and I'd like to say something. It looked like we had a whole bunch. I've got the report from Chassie, how many building permits. I hadn't seen that many building permits issued here in a long time. That one, I think it close to 60, but yeah, it's good to see that kind of growth. All right, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, so that brings us to approval of the CBDG action plan. It's at your station. Anita, you're up. Tell us what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Congratulations on doing your first one for the city of Jacksonville.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. So you got a booklet that actually details the annual plan for FY 2022. Okay. So just to let you know, we were awarded this year. Let me put my old ladies on. 219,338, and that was an increase of $11,000 from FY 2021. So, which is a little bit over. It equals out to 5.5%. So, 5.5% increase. If you turn your attention to pages 17 through 19. It will give you the specific categories of how we are breaking out the money in accordance for this year. So 43,868 will be budgeted for administration, and that's strictly supplies, part of my salary, things like that. And to give some perspective, understanding that that section has a specific cap. So basically, I can't go over a certain percentage under this award. So then when you go to public service, we are allocating $32,901. And you will see that that will go for public facility, infrastructure activities. And there are some plans in the works with facilities to help, with the city in some infrastructure issues. Public facility improvements, we are allocating $15,000 to that. And that will also be for infrastructure and low and moderate income housing individuals, okay? To create a suitable living environment, that is money that we are dedicating to the Sunnyside area. And that's $7,569. So we're going to do some things in that area as well. Economic development is $5,000, and that's what has been standard across the board. And then housing, that's where a large bulk of that money is, and that's $115,000. And the reason why the bulk of that is because in CDBG, one of the things of the many programs that we do is we provide handicapped, low-income and moderate-income individuals who are handicapped, wheelchair ramps. We help modify bathrooms to make them wider. So we're doing a lot of things in that area for all of those individuals. And that's where the bulk of that money will go. And as well, also another portion of my salary comes out of that section. Do we have any questions?
Councilmember Blevins.
Yeah, like right off the bat, I think that's awesome that we got $11,000 more than last year. I'm kind of curious when both you and Ms. Watson showed up, we were actually told, the city council was told that we're going to be getting less money. What was it that changed that allowed us to get more?
Okay, so that was less money overall at the federal level, okay? And so what they did is when they went back and they kind of, there's an organization separate that kind of lobbies on behalf of HUD. They were able to get an increase, and they're actually working to stabilize the funding to get more money. This funding has actually seen a decrease within the last 10 years dramatically. And so that was what happened. It was overall on the federal level, but because of COVID and all the other things, it ended up becoming an actual slight increase.
Is there additional money that we can find past this that we're looking into as well? Or is there going to be any more money available to us?
So, yes, I am actively looking at other funding sources to help supplement what we have. However, you have to understand, in doing that, we have to have infrastructure things in place. Some fundings require matching requirements. If the city budget doesn't have it to match, then we won't be able to apply for the grant. So those are things that I have to take in consideration. Also, the scope of different projects. Some things that we're proposing to do may not meet the level that certain funding in competing with other people. So, but yes, I am actively looking at other funding sources.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Councilmember
Can you
Twitty.
share with us what you might be doing in Sunnyside?
Well, one of the things that I'm looking at for Sunnyside is possibly looking at the sidewalks, lights, simple things. Also maybe if the mayor may have another idea about homes in that area, maybe helping them paint, clean up, various different things. I'm looking at the people that we're serving under this money are chronically poor.
Right.
And with that, there is, with that comes, lack of understanding, education, all of these different things. Trying to help, just getting them to clean up their own area. And so some of that is what I'm intending to do. I just have to really get over the hump of getting this through and really getting more into that community.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Twitty, to expand on what we've been talking about, just prior to COVID, Teresa Watson, myself, Habitat for Humanity's Airbag, we were getting resources to go there and rehab whatever people needed, because Habitat for Humanity has that resale store. They were going to bring materials, but they were going to bring a lot of labor, and the Air Force was going to provide some labor, and just serve was going. So we were going to get a lot of labor, and we were looking at doing back porches, kitchens, all kinds of stuff for people. We can't do roofs. That's all that they wouldn't be involved in. But that's what she's referring to, where I was involved is. When Habitat for Humanity gets back post-COVID and doing that, we're looking at still doing that. That is still a goal. Well, actually, Billy Ann Myers helped me work on that.
I know there's a great need over there.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. I mean,
Not a
it's,
whole lot's gonna get done with just $7,000.
no. This money is, I'm able to shift this money and reallocate as needed, but you will be surprised of how much money under the housing category can also be spent in that other category for the Sunnyside, okay? And you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people that are in the Sunnyside that are actually asking for a wheelchair, so it really is just based on history of need and the previous data that shows of what those specific needs are. And so when the data was looked at, it looked more so for specific under wheelchair accessibilities, emergency roof things, and a lot of these people are in that community. It's just that it was a better way of putting it under a category, if that makes sense. Okay.
Can I ask a question? You're
Yes.
talking about that. That would apply to homeowners, not landlords, correct?
It's, okay, so if a hypothetical situation, if a tenant called us and said, a tree fell through, right? The tenant could call us, but we would end up looking to the landlord to fix it. Everyone under this must meet the HUD income guidelines,
Okay, that's
right?
what- That's what I just want to clarify.
Right.
Not
There-
gonna
this is
be
not-
rehabbing
right.
Landlord's houses for.
Exactly. This is not for the landlord.
It's for the homeowner.
This is for homeowners. Now, and there are several homeowners that, have been serviced by this
Right.
20 years ago. And so, no, it's not for the landlord to be able to fix a rental house
Good.
because they're servicing a low-income person.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yeah, so about a year ago, when Ms. Watson came to us and started talking about the COVID money and money that she had, she said there was some rollover money that didn't get used and was kept in a separate account that, she couldn't look at. Is that money that's also going to be accessible for these projects as well?
Yes, I'm also using, okay, so, and this is one of the things that, upon my coming here, again, just to give you some context to my experience, I've done federal grants management for 16 years. And one of the things that I noticed that was a little off is that you start your program year in January, which coincides with your fiscal year. It's nothing wrong with that. However, it doesn't coincide when you actually get your award letter, right? So basically, you're working a whole year in the arrears until your award money comes. So that's one of the things that I have already had a conversation with our federal project officer. And next year, I will be moving the project year from January to actually during when the actual award comes, which is typically around June. Now, let me be clear about something. Because HUD is obligated under the budget appropriation, the federal appropriation, they cannot give an award until a federal budget is approved. So they are subject to that. It's not like CDC or NIH or DHHS. They are not subject to a budget. They already have money in their coffers from previous, and they roll over. So they are specific. Every time there is budget season, when Congress and they don't do their budget, that money gets delayed. So that's just give you that context. But yes, there is money that we are using right now that is prior money, and the COVID money that we're using it to provide citizens rental assistance, payments for utilities. I actually, a woman had her lights, and holistically, we did her electricity, and we got her food because her food got bad. Her son got COVID and was sick for 2 months. So these are the things that we're doing specifically with these COVID dollars.
But this 238 does not include that money, correct?
No, that's not.
That is not correct?
No, it does not include that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, entertain a motion to approve. A motion, second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Thank you.
Thank you so
Did a
much.
good job. All right, so at 6:14, I open our public hearing on the grass ordinance. Anybody wish to come forward and speak about ordinance 1696? It's actually a code ordinance, not just grass, so, yeah, it's a code enforcement ordinance. So anybody here to speak for, against, talk about? All right. So, at 6:15, I close the public hearing, and that brings us to, I entertain a motion to put ordinance 1698 on first reading.
Second.
Got a motion, a second, roll call.
Councilmember Deets. Councilmember Deets.
On which one?
The ordinance
To place ordinance 1696 on first reading.
is amending our code.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Ordinance number 1696, an ordinance amending and revising various Jacksonville municipal codes concerning business licenses, property maintenance, and building codes, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Okay. Get it right. Come up and explain what we're doing.
Before I get started, is there any difference in the one that's on our desk and the one that is in the packet?
There's minor formatting issues. There were some
No.
on page 2. I think it's page 2.
This is a
Engineering
long-
department asked for us to add the International Mechanical Code 2018. And I believe they added, I think it was for permits, correct? For building
Yes,
permits.
about who was issuing
We added
permits.
the engineering department in one paragraph. The rest is just formatting changes.
Okay, so explain what we're doing while we're doing it.
Okay, so I've had code enforcement now for a little over 2 years. I started this project, I guess, about a year into it. Reviewing the codes and dealing with the enforcement we have out there, a lot of the codes were kind of ambiguous and hard to understand. They were conflicting. We had a whole chapter that conflicted with another chapter, so it was hard to determine what code was being followed, what we were supposed to enforce, and everything else. So I went through there, we started comparing the codes. The first thing that we wanted to do was get rid of chapter 8.08, which was nuisance and abatement, because we already had 8.03, which was also nuisance and abatement. So they said the exact same thing, it's just they conflicted each other with different things. So that's the first thing we wanted to do, is get rid of that. Dealing with apartment communities and things like that, as far as our business license goes, we had several issues with several apartment complexes where we had requested, cited, begged and pleaded for them to get their properties fixed if they wouldn't do it. So the implementation of a apartment complex and management company business license would give us some recourse as a last resort. So if they don't do what we're asking them to do and to fix the properties like we want them to, we can pull their business license and effectively shut them down until they get fixed what needs to be fixed.
A question, I mean, just to clarify, like people like Bart Gray already has a license to be a property
Correct.
manager,
They're-
but an apartment complex really doesn't have. that.
Correct. They are a real estate agency, so with that real estate agency, they're going to have rental properties, they're going to have properties they're selling. They already have a business license.
Right.
So, and those aren't typically the problems, or the properties that we have problems with. Our bigger apartment complexes that are managed by some out-of-state company, or they're self-managed, that's where we have a lot of our problems. It's just mainly for the apartment complexes, not real estate companies and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
The next thing was, we moved some stuff around from 8.08 that was necessary, such as personal liability for code enforcement officers, citations and things like that. We moved that back from 8.08 to 8.03 and 8.01. We adopted the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code and added that to our stuff. And then we went and changed some stuff in our nuisance abatement, detailing specifically exterior structure requirements, interior structure requirements. Basically, it would break it down to where people could actually go and look at our code. And if they're having violations, the violations we typically dealt with, stuff like the security of a building, a hole in the floor, things like that. It breaks it down to where the citizen can actually understand what they're reading versus trying to dig through that and figure out what kind of violation is there, as well as the code enforcement officer going, well, this is subjective, I think this is okay, where another one's saying it's not. It gives us specific guidelines we're supposed to follow. And then we changed the noise ordinance. The noise ordinance was very, very long and almost impossible to enforce. We compared our ordinance with Pine Bluff. where basically we got rid of the decibel levels and did it based off of feet, how far away you could hear, how loud it was. Basically changed it to where if you can plainly hear, it probably was like 75 feet away. If you can plainly hear what's being said or played, then that could be too loud during like the times between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Just change some stuff around like that, make it easier for the citizen to talk about and easier for us to enforce. And also put some exceptions in there for youth athletic leagues, like the Mighty Vikings, them out there playing. I know sometimes we'll get some complaints on that, but you know, we got to have those sports for those young children out there to be able to play. But ultimately, the purpose was to, especially for our lower income folks that rent and are subjected to some landlords, it gives them some recourse as far as being able to force their landlord to fix stuff that needs to be fixed.
Like a hole in the roof.
Like a hole in the roof, things. Now, we're not going to go door to door asking to see your air conditioner, asking to see the inside of your house, but if a complaint is generated, it's something where we would actually have some recourse to be able to help them versus us going, well, the code really doesn't say that, and so it gives us a little bit more recourse and the ability to help them.
There's a couple other things in there. Council members, any council member have a question about what we're doing? I mean, we went over the code, and you're not out looking for landlords. You're waiting.
No, not at all.
You're waiting for people to say, hey, I've got this electric wire and my son keeps
Right.
up with it.
You know, where we're proactive is when we're out driving around looking at grass, you know, the most horrible thing in the world. But we're looking at grass, we're looking at people's outside storage, things like that. We're not going on and knocking on the door and saying, hey, we need to go inside your house and inspect your house to see if there's a wire hanging down. That's not what we do. When we're proactive, we're looking for stuff we can visibly see from the outside, complaint generated stuff we see on the inside.
And this makes it easier and more enforceable and understandable by one, the code officers, and two, by the public.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions anybody has of this, Lieutenant Wright, on this? Okay, Councilmember D. Now, several of y'all are on this committee, right? Yeah,
Yes,
there was,
we
yeah.
were on it.
Not that, but y'all.
We spend a lot of hours extensively on this,
Yeah, we good with it.
going over it, and it works good. It should help them. It should help the city. And I was just wondering, when we start finding a lot of these violations, is there any way we can let them people know that we might have some money to help them if they qualify?
I mean,
That would be something that would be helpful. I went by a couple of houses today, to be honest, and, you know, they're not in Sunnyside, you know, they're in, you know, right down here in, on North James.
I know a lot of those, we would have to know the qualifications as far as what a person would need to be able to do that. I know CDBG typically is lower income and houses down in Sunnyside and things like that. So I know there's certain zones in your stuff area that she works on, so I don't know.
Well, it'd be something-
I mean, we could suggest it if
That's
it was a
what I'm thinking.
homeowner,
Yeah,
but.
because what I see a lot of right now, Lieutenant Wright, is, you know, to be honest, in my field of work, you know, there's a married couple, and the, you know, the husband was active duty, military, retired. People don't realize when they die, you know, that spouse, unless they signed up for it, they don't get any of that money. So then they're forced to live on a third of what they were used to living on. So their properties start going down pretty fast. There's a couple of them, and I went and talked to one of them today. You know, she has a window out, and she says, well, I can't afford to fix it with the cost of everything. You know, I know probably what she makes, she would qualify. So I'm just saying, them type of people we need to help too. You know, we need to be finding out everybody that needs help, and let's help all of them, because everybody in the city of Jacksonville is a citizen, whether they're make $1 million or a little, and we need to do what we can to help them. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And y'all do a good job. I mean, perfect job. I mean, y'all got me last week, and you know, I had it mowed. Thank you. But I'm just saying.
Right, but it's unless it's something that's like visibly just
Well, there's-
obtrusive, like if you got 4 or 5 front windows busted out and your roof's falling down and everything else, I'm not gonna walk up to your door and say, hey, you know, let me inside your house and see what's going
Well,
on.
this one had 2
Yeah.
windows busted out and the eave hanging down. And, you know, to me, that's, you know, perfect example.
I mean, that would draw our attention. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that
I
that
think
would definitely draw our attention.
I think it would qualify, but I think a lot of people don't realize that there is money involved.
Yeah.
Oh, Councilmember Bowman.
I just want to try to make sure that the aroma of money is not misguided. CBDG, the funds for CBDG are very strict, and everybody don't qualify for them. So we want to make sure that we don't put that out there so the public thinks, oh, I can get, I got a wire hanging, so just want to make sure I bring clarity to that, because a lot of times we put the aroma on money, the aroma need is fuel.
Anything? Any other questions?
Comment. You've been to the town hall meetings and you've heard a lot of the same stuff I've had, that the appearance of the town as a whole is very, very important to people. So I'd like to applaud you and thank you for what you're doing, and we're going to try to get some more support.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. No further questions. I entertain a motion to approve on first reading and suspend the rules and place on second reading. All right, got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve on second reading, put on third and final reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? And we're headed towards the final vote. Anybody got anything to add? All right, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to approve and adopt 1698. Okay, last chance for discussion. Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray. Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Dang it, we approved that one. How about emergency clause? Entertain a motion to, got a motion, second motion, emergency clause, roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
Aye.
Lieutenant Wright, thanks for your good hard work on this, and a few more times we'll get it right. Thank you.
Good job. Appreciate you.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is ordinance 1698. I'd entertain a motion to put 1699 on, is that right? 98 on first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deets.
Aye.
Bolden.
Aye.
Blevins.
Aye.
Sansing.
No.
Ray.
No.
Trailer.
Aye.
Twitty.
No.
Let's vote.
Yes. 4 to 3.
Is that enough to read? Okay. Please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 1698, an ordinance amending Jacksonville Municipal Code, section 6.04.045, lifting the ban of pit bull terrier breed of dog, commonly referred to as pit bulls, and for other purposes.
Okay, Councilmember Blevins?
Thank you, Mayor. This was an ordinance that was put together to basically lift the ban of the pit bull, basically affectionately known as the pit bull ban, to allow citizens to have that breed of animal in the city of Jacksonville. Like I've said multiple times, like the breed-specific legislation is something that is actively attempting to be eliminated across the United States nationwide. As of right now, people don't have a way to register their animals. Obviously, we have pit bulls in the city limits. This gives the ability for them to be legal within the city and have a way to keep the pets that they love within the city. As we all know, there was a big public hearing here a couple of weeks ago in which the city of Jacksonville came out. We had a resounding voice of people that came in that wanted this to be repealed, to allow people the opportunity to have the pets they love in the city. There was even other businesses that offered free services to help train the animals, eliminating a lot of the comments that were being made about the animals being vicious or other misconceptions and misinformation that's been given out. This is just an amendment that's been brought up due to that overwhelming, resounding response from the community of Jacksonville and the citizens of Jacksonville.
Okay. I've looked in this, and I've actually talked to the head of the, in Cabot, their animal control. Not everybody's following the rules, but I wish we had more teeth in this, but we have pit bulls here, and, just good dog owners shouldn't be banned from living here. So this is something that I think we need to address at some point in time and get handled. Don't know if we got enough here tonight, but this is I don't know if anybody doesn't live here because of it, but they have had some people leave Cabot because they didn't like the rules that are in this ordinance. And what we're missing is the repeat offenders. And in Cabot, if you get 2 violations, you can never register a pit bull there again. And so I think there's what we need to do is put more teeth into this. If it passes, if we put this on the book, we need to put more teeth into it and get those repeat offenders to quit being the repeat offenders. So, okay, Councilmember Sansing.
Suggestion that we did it, we've done it with other things. Obviously, we did it with Lieutenant Wright's code enforcement issues. Did we have any kind of committee, or Brian, did you pretty much come up with this? You wrote, because you were the one.
Sir, over a year ago, when I brought this up initially, I had contacted a lot of people in the community. I had spoken to the head of animal control. At the time, I had spoken to the chief, and I'd also spoken to code enforcement, which everybody was on board with. When we came to the city council, I thought all of my T's were crossed and I's were dotted, but apparently there were situations behind the scenes that made it so that ideas were changed by the people that were in support of it, maybe not by the person that changed their mind. So yeah, I have definitely looked into this. There is a lot of things that could be done, but right now we don't have the action to take. Like if we were to go ahead and pass this and there were issues that arise, we could pivot and we could change and adjust as the items. We don't know what to expect. Like we don't know how many people are going to register their animals. Like what if all of them registered their animals? Everybody's saying, oh, well, that's not going to happen. But you don't know.
Back to my question.
You don't know.
You were the one that put this together.
Yes, sir. I was the one that put this. I was the one that brought this forward, but the ordinance itself was in Cabot and in Maumelle.
I would suggest that we have a committee to look at this and bring it back to the council as a committee, not as one person.
I disagree.
And
You're right.
and you're talking about like we did on code, like we did on the foul ordinance that I think we're on.
I'm not necessarily saying that the.
And we've had several
committee is gonna
committees.
Bring an ordinance to the city council. The committee might decide we don't want to bring an ordinance to the city council, but I think we ought to do it that way.
Well, I think it'd
There's
be,
several things in here that I could see working, and there's some things that I think are too strict. You think there's not enough strict.
and
So that's
there's some
one-
things in here that are too strict, but other things that aren't strict enough. Yes, I agree with
We
you.
can bring something
Mr.
else
Mayor, I
back.
believe I was recognized a while ago before he spoke.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I have to take some issue with a few things that my partner here said. Because we had a number of people
Gary,
here.
use your mic, please.
Okay, I'll get closer to it. Better? We'll take a little issue with what he said. Because we had quite a few people here, that's not what I would consider a representation of the whole city of Jacksonville. The whole city of Jacksonville can't fit in here. What was in here was the people that was fired up from Facebook. Now, I've spoken to some people, I've had texts from people, and this is what I'm going to tell you. We have a large retirement community in town. Many of the older people like to get out and walk. They are terrified of the idea of being out for a walk and encountering a loose pit bull or a pit bull on a leash that somebody can't control. They go to Facebook. You go to Facebook, you see plenty of things of various pit bull attacks. Rightly or wrongly, I think it's rightly, they do have a reputation and people are aware of it. if we were to change this after having them banned, now the people that got them in town, they are breaking the law right now. Several things are put in here for them to do. If they're breaking the law right now, what's to make me to believe that they're going to follow it in the future? I see no reason to lift the ban. Number one, I think it would terrify a large part of the population that I have heard from. Not the people that get on Facebook, but the people that you talk to when you're out eating, and we talk to when you're out restaurants, and you hear at social clubs and various meetings. I think this would be detrimental to the city. And I do not want it on my conscience if something tragic would happen.
Councilmember Blevins.
Yeah, again, I would like to just address something that, usually when you're upset about something or you feel about something, you hear what you want to hear. What I said, and I'm pretty sure everyone here can say that this is exactly what I said. I said we had a public hearing, and the people that were here, there was a resounding yes that they wanted the pit bull ban lifted. I did not say that I spoke for the whole entire city of Jacksonville. So, I mean, like if we're gonna call a duck, let's go ahead and get it right. Second of all, the fact that there's a roadblock and like no give at all to give any kind of way for good people to do something is a horrible way to live life. It is absolute. I mean, I understand you're like, oh, there's people that don't want this because, they're scared to walk the streets. I hate to tell you this, but there's people that are scared to walk the streets for way bigger reasons than pit bulls. Okay? Like, I mean, that's just the truth. Again, this opportunity to give these people a chance to have what they want, what they would like to have, and eliminating another reason for people not to want to be here, or eliminating a reason for people to want to break the law, I think far outseeds maybe a personal bias or something along those lines. So that's it. That's what I was saying.
Okay. Councilmember Trader had put forth a question to you.
Yes.
As you've been. Now, remember, this came up in 19, and this came up again, or started to come up in 20, so it's been coming up for several years now, and then you've brought it up a couple times. He suggested that we have a committee to look into this and bring forth an amendment that may be workable. And I don't know, and I don't know if you're interested in having that committee or not, or are we going forward with this?
I mean, I would definitely be interested in having the committee, although I will state that I think that the ordinance has been thoroughly comprised. I know that you were saying there's like some really extremely strict things, like if we're lenient on some of it, the weights have to be shifted in the other direction. Like if we relinquish on one, we have to be hard on another, I think. And I believe that may be something that convolutes the whole idea of what was already working in other cities. But I am completely down for doing whatever it takes to try to, give this opportunity where it's needed. So yeah, again, I definitely would be down for that. It's just, I do feel that the ordinance as it stands is something like, this isn't something that was just created. This is something that multiple cities have done.
And tell me if I'm incorrect, but he's the sponsor, and he can either say, let's have a committee to discuss this. Is that so, or is that your suggestion that we have a committee to discuss this, or do you want to go forward with the vote? And that's, I guess, where we're at, correct, Stephanie? Is that right?
Let me just interject one thing. Like I said, it was some things I thought we were too strict with. What was it, $150 to register your pit bull?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we want everyone in town that theoretically, if they could have pit bulls, we would want them to register them, right?
Yeah.
To me, that's a deterrent for them to register their dogs, because some people are not going to go pay $150 a year. They're not. They're going to be the ones out there that aren't registered. If you have it where it's something that is reasonable, because the goal is to get everyone registered their dogs so you know where they are. That's just, there's small things throughout the ordinance that I think can be corrected through a committee if we're gonna bring it to the council.
Yes, sir. And if you don't mind, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was a conversation that was done, and I don't know why I forgot about it and didn't see it was on here, but there was a conversation about allowing a 1-month time frame for people who have pit bulls in the city to register their animals for free with the city. There was something that was mentioned.
Is it not an annual fee?
It is, yes, sir, it is. But I mean, just to get the people that were already here, there was something set up to, I did discuss something like that, and I didn't follow up with it, but that was something that I have mentioned before. That is not in this, but I want to say that that was something that I had said before.
Okay, so are we gonna try
I
to
did,
form
I
a
did not,
committee
I
or
did
not?
not ask the city attorney to put that in there. This was just something that I had mentioned in passing.
So are we gonna try to form a committee to look into this or not?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I'm not right, rules of order, we on a discussion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that you're trying to organize a committee on a discussion? Is that the legal part of the thing?
Well, that's what I was trying to ask.
Is that the legal part of
It
here?
was the question, I don't believe Councilman Blevins has answered.
Yeah, I was trying to run it through. I don't want to make a split-second decision and be
Sure.
like, hey, look, let's go ahead and do a committee, and then this get, thrown to the wayside again. I'm contemplating. Obviously, I know how the votes are probably going to go, and I know there's a secondary vote on here to see about placing it on the ballot in case this did not go through, to allow the citizens to vote on it. So I'm just trying to think, like, if I say no to that and we vote and it doesn't go down, then I go to the ordinance to ask it be placed on the general election for the citizens to vote for it. If I say, hey, yeah, let's go ahead and make a committee, it kind of makes the point of putting it on the ballot moot.
Mr. Mayor, I'll call for an end of the discussion and call for a vote on the ordinance.
There's still a question already open.
And there are questions still
Yes,
open.
there's still already a question.
He's calling for a question, which if he can get a second and it passes, that stops all discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion second to call for the question. Roll call.
We let Brian answer the question you asked him first. In one word, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, well then, doesn't that stop it? I mean, I'm just saying, if we're gonna form a committee, what's the answer to your
I would
question?
say, yeah, we can form a committee, but again, there is a deal. There's a call to the
Does
vote.
that stop do we need,
There's a call to question.
Yeah.
Correct,
Call the question
that needs to be
after.
addressed, correct?
okay, all right, roll call.
Whoa, whoa.
Explain what we're doing, Susan, please.
Move to a vote for this.
This vote is for a call to the question of the motion, which is basically stops all conversation, discussion, and we can go on.
Call for a vote on ordinance.
So the only way Brian can answer the mayor's question is for us to vote this down.
Exactly.
So we're not voting on this, we're calling for the question.
They're just a question of the motion, stops all discussion.
That's-
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden.
All right.
Councilmember Blevins.
Nay.
Councilmember Sansing.
Aye.
Councilmember Ray.
Aye.
Councilmember Trailer.
No.
Councilmember Twitty.
Aye.
Is that 5-2?
Yes.
So now then, we have to vote on the ordinance, correct? Because we had the question?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, vote on 1698. Roll call.
Well, I need a motion and second to approve on first and place on second.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion, approve on first and place on second.
Second.
Got a motion, second. Roll call.
Councilmember Deeds.
Aye.
Councilmember Bolden.
Hey,
Councilmember Blevins.
Aye.
Councilmember Sansing.
Aye.
Councilmember Ray.
No.
Councilmember Trailer.
Aye.
Councilmember Twitty. 5-2.
Okay. So it's done. Okay. Can you still form a committee?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to move on to 1699?
I would like to table 1699 and then make the motion to create a committee.
Okay. And do I have a second on creating a committee?
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Do we have to vote on it? Or can we just, it's not, do we vote? All right, so we just form a committee. Okay. Okay, all right, volunteers to serve on the committee.
I'd like to volunteer.
Yeah, who else wants to volunteer?
I'll volunteer.
Anyone else? All right, we've got 3. I think that forms a committee, correct?
I've got Blevins and Mary, and who else?
Trailer.
Okay.
Can we get some citizens on?
Now, what about the members that aren't here?
I would like to see if we could add the animal control
Yes.
and the police chief.
What about code? You want to stick code in there too? Yeah, Ryan's board. Okay, now, what about the members not here? Could they join this at a later date? All right, so, would you contact the members not here, please, City Clerk, and see if any of those would be willing to serve on this committee? Thank you very much.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes,
So on ordinance 1699, to place that on a November ballot, what is that entitled? How much money does that cost, and who pays for it? I'm just, how much?
Because it's going on the general election ballot, it's,
6,000?
I believe so, it's not as much as a special
So
election,
who pays for that?
the city.
now, he's asked to table that motion.
Yeah, I know, but I was just asking
Sure.
for reference, so people know. You can't put something on the general election free. Someone has to pay.
And now then, okay, if you're going out and getting a petition, getting it signed, if you don't do it by August 1st, it can't get on this November elections, whatever. Am I correct in that? And so if we were to pass this, what's the latest date we can pass it to get on November?
Yeah, August 30th.
August 30th, okay. Which is different than signature one. I know that the legislature changed all these rules.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Once before the ballot, yes.
Okay, so before we go much further, our next meeting, we're going to be missing our city attorney. We are going to be heartbroken, but Rock Region has asked to make a presentation, which will be probably an hour. They're 40 minutes, they're leaving 20 to 30 minutes for questions. And so they're going to be here with the slideshow and all that. Hopefully, our financial audit will be finished, and they're going to make that presentation. And the Senior Center wants to give out an award, and so they've asked to be on the agenda at that meeting. So we're going to have an hour-and-a-half meeting already, and we're not going to have a city attorney to do. So we may not get a whole lot done outside of that presentation. So I just want to make everybody aware of that. Now, in your package, you saw a appraisal for the 4 acres on Graham Road. They, we have to pay, they've offered to sell it to for $150,000 plus our share of the closing. And I wanted y'all to see that before I started the paperwork rolling on purchasing that. It was $176,000. Okay, so just any questions on that? We're buying it for $150 plus closing, and it appraised at $176. We're going to hold off the next item, that announcement, until we do the audit. Now, are the Forest here tonight? Okay, yeah, y'all come up and talk a minute. They've asked to purchase a lot next to their house on Jackson, Jackson Circle, and the city owns it, but there's some difficulties with the deed. It was once with the state land commissioner, so we've got to get the deed worked out. So we don't have a resolution tonight, but I don't want you to have to keep coming back, Mr. Omaha, which I like them Omahawks, but I wanted you just to explain how much you're willing to pay, why you want it. Okay, so you don't have to come back, because we can pass a resolution without you. I've got your phone number, I'll be happy to call you.
Yeah, we
So-
just want to purchase 106 Jackson Circle.
And you live at 104 or 108?
Yeah, I own a place at 104.
Okay, and so you're wanting, or y'all just want to expand your yard? I mean,
Yeah.
okay, okay. And then we don't have to mow it anymore, and then
Yeah.
you'll have to mow it. And so as soon as we get this title worked out, we're not gonna vote on it tonight, but they've offered $750, like the other lots we've sold over there. And I just wanted you to meet them, say hello, that way you don't have to come back. I'll let you know when we've got the resolution coming before us, and hopefully it'll pass, and we'll be able to see that piece of property. Certainly.
There's a lot of leftover, like siding materials also on the property, so I mean, it would have a lot of cleanup.
There's a lot of debris on it.
But we're willing to clean it up ourselves.
Okay.
So
And I thought there was some
that's
roofing
why we
material
love
in
that.
there too.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
stuff in there.
I
yeah.
don't know if something had burnt down on that lot.
No, the people next door threw it over there, I think, one day, 15 years ago, so. Okay. All right, so I thank you for coming. I didn't want you to have to come back, that y'all were here tonight.
appreciate it.
I wanted to give you a chance to speak, and really appreciate it. And
Right.
it makes a nice addition to your house. Okay, so is there any announcement anybody needs to make? When's the chamber thing, the casino night? Huh? August 5th? So August 5th is casino night? Okay, Councilmember Bowden.
Yeah, I'd like to welcome from the council, Planet Fitness came in today, we did the ribbon cutting.
Oh, yeah, that was a nice place.
And then, so anybody needs to get in shape, get your cardio up, let's go over there. And then also Planet Fitness donated $5,000 to the Friends of the Animal Shelter for Jacksonville. So we're excited about that. I'm sure that funds will be going into the budget of the animal shelter.
And they have a box out there that you can put stuff in for. There was bleach, dog food, things out there at the ribbon cutting. And who's their newest member? Any other announcements that need to come before city? All right. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
To the Jacksonville Community Center for your fitness. If you are-
I have no weight over there.